Ghana, safe. One of the safest places I've ever lived. I would say arguably safer than London. What I love about Ghana is I feel like I have 24 hours in the day. Ghana is an easy life. I like my life. It's peaceful. It's unstressful. Every time I arrive, I'm like, wow, the West established a hierarchy on the global South, the non-Western world. That was, they are inferior. Behind, things didn't work. They were not modern. That was just the way it was. Why would it benefit the West to have people see Africa as inferior? I think that's very straightforward, right? That's like one political ego. Africa has a lot of power. The best thing to do is like take advantage of the turmoil that's going on elsewhere, band together, and like revolutionize as a united force.
They've told our story, but it's been wrong. Keeping it aligned with the message of leading from experience.
Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ambassador Vix, and I am back with another awesome video. On this channel, we talk about the positivity about Ghana and Africa. For the very first time, I have someone who looks exactly like me, but was born in the UK. Hi, Angel. How are you?
I'm very well. I did not know that I was the first time.
That's your first time.
First time.
Yeah.
Of
a black person who was born in the States.
Intriguing. I was not born in the States. I was born in the UK.
UK.
In the UK.
Yeah.
But still abroad.
I like your accent too.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So let us know who you are and what you do.
I'm Angel. I am a screenwriter. I dislike condiments. I like to travel. I've spent most of my adult life traveling, living between places. I like to experience new things, meet new people. That's me, I would say.
Okay.
What else do you want to know?
Why did you choose Ghana?
I didn't really choose it. Perhaps it chose me.
Okay.
I came here 2 years ago because someone offered me the opportunity to come here and write. They had a house. They said, do you want to come and stay in it? I had never been to Africa. Well, I've been to Morocco. It's up to you if you count that. But I'd never been to West Africa. And I am West African. I'm Nigerian. So it was my first time venturing into homeland. If depending on how you categorize where you lay your borders. But a lot of people saw it as a kind of like, oh, you're finally going back to where you're from. And in some ways, it's true. I was the first time I've been in a place where people, I'm a dark-skinned woman, are also dark-skinned that look like me. But it wasn't necessarily something I was familiar with. But I really quickly came to love it. And so this is me returning because I want to. And I've been here since like 3-4 months.
Let us go into specifics of this then. When you were born there, the media actually tells you that Africa is this, Africa is that. For the very first time when you were coming or before coming, then you told your family or friends that, hey, I'll be coming to Ghana, I'll be coming to Africa for the very first time. How was the reaction? What did they say?
To be honest, I have friends who'd been to Ghana. I would say it wasn't so much the media was saying Africa is awful. No, it just wasn't talking about it. When I grew up, Africa wasn't relevant. It wasn't cool. People went to East Asia. People went to Southeast Asia. People went traveling in South America. No one was going to Africa, right? It just wasn't a spot. There was nothing. The idea was there was nothing to see there. So I think when I told people weren't like, oh my God, whoa, that's so crazy. They were just like, oh, random. But I'd had friends who had similarly gone. And I was like, oh, actually, they had a nice time. I should probably go. Maybe the one thing was, I think maybe because people conflate Ghana and Nigeria is that it was dangerous. I think that a lot of my friends, and to be honest, I knew this because I really liked sport when I was a child. But I do think people don't realize that Ghana and Nigeria don't share a border. I think that's a really common.
People don't know.
People don't know. That's like one of those like Mandela effects things where like people think they have a border, and there are 2 full countries in between them. And yes, Nigeria has its security problems, but Ghana, safe.
Right.
One of the safest places I've ever lived. I would say arguably safer than London. But take what you want with that.
Why would you think that, a continent or maybe a Western country would preach about negativity about Africa continent or maybe countries within Africa. They preached it in a way that there's nothing to see there.
I wouldn't say they preached it, though. I didn't say that because I feel like the difference, I would say historically, yes, the West established a hierarchy on the global South, the non-Western world. That was, they are inferior. By the time that I lived a life, which was mostly in the end of the 20th century into the 21st century, yeah, people weren't really talking about Africa. They were behind. Things didn't work. They were not modern. That was just the way it was. We didn't even need to establish that because it had happened so far in advance where that hierarchy had been established that even the common person's like, oh, I can't get Wi-Fi there. Well, that's not a vibe. You know, you have power outages. That's not a vibe. So I don't think the West is preaching it. Why would it benefit the West to have people see Africa as inferior? I think that's very straightforward, right? That's like one political ego that gets to be propelled.
Aside we doing interviews and trying to educate or inform people about Africa, what are some of the ways do you think that we can do or the methods that we can adopt to change that narrative about, Ghana or Africa?
Ooh. Do you know, so that is a really interesting question right now. If you asked me this a year ago, I think I would have been giving a completely different answer. But I think Africa's place in the world and its relevance in the world has been pretty unquestioned, at least in this ranking that we have here. And in this certain moment, we're seeing world order being flipped on its head, which becomes a really interesting, also like pretty high intensity, high stakes moment for the whole world, but an interesting moment for Africa because everything's being upturned and Africa, in it being omitted from all the conversations ever, has this moment to kind of appear on the scene. And not as subservient to someone else, not as, the little brother of the West or as the little brother of the East, whichever mega state is the one that's kind of controlling it. Maybe there's an opportunity to take up some power of its own. I don't think that comes from a singular country. If for Africa to do that, Africa has to band up. And Pan-Africanism is a thing. Every time a politician talks about it, they tend to die. Yes. Because Africa's like a really big place with a lot of resources. My take on the world currently is that actually everything comes down to resources. Soft power is really valuable if you can convince people that their resources belong to you. But actually it's way better to just own those resources. I'm not a politician, but my very basic view of what's going on right now is that's what's happening. And in that scheme, Africa has a lot of power. Not as Ghana or Nigeria or South Africa alone, but as a continent, we're chilling. So I would say, yeah, the best thing to do is take advantage of the turmoil that's going on elsewhere, band together, and revolutionize as a united force.
They've told our story, but it's been wrong.
Hi, I'm Eva from Wales. Keep watching VicemenTV if you want to learn more about Ghana and changing the narrative and to try and get more people to visit here because it's a great place to come.
I would like to know someone who was born in UK. You came to Ghana. What are some of the challenges that you are facing?
Ooh, the challenges. Ghana is an easy life. I like my life. It's peaceful. It's unstressful. Every time I arrive, I'm like, wow. I said to my friend, week 2 of me being here, and I said, what I love about Ghana is I feel like I have 24 hours in the day. Time feels like it moves more slowly, but at the pace that I can handle it. When I'm in London, I skip through swashes of time. It's 9 a.m. and then it's 2 p.m. and I'm like, what the hell happened in the morning? Whereas here, I can wake up at 7 with the sun. I can do some work. I can get in my exercise at the end of the day. I can see a friend. I can get to bed and still feel well rested and still feel like my day is balanced. So I really love that. And I love that life here is non-stressful. My challenge It's honestly a stupid gripe. But at some point, and it's usually about 2 months in, my patience really runs out. And I do feel like things move really damn slowly.
Okay.
You know? And sometimes I'm like, guys, I just want to get in and out. I don't love that I can't account for time. I want to do a quick run, a quick errand, and that errand could take 15 if I'm lucky, more likely an hour, but potentially 3. And that's a big range. I'd like to shrink that range down, you know, make it more workable.
So Angel talked about time, our approach to time. We are more relaxed with the time, but in the Western world, everything is, sharp. So let us work on that. Not only you who has shared with regards to time, I engage people and they talk about when you come to Ghana, you are supposed to drink what? Peace drink or patience drink. Yeah, someone said that. You need to drink something that I understand. Let us talk about the Ghanaian jollof and the Nigerian jollof. As a Nigerian, someone who traces your root to Nigeria, tell us, just be honest, which of the 2 countries has the best jollof rice?
Ghanaian. I will take the heat from whoever's watching, but I stand by it. I would say Nigerian jollof is good. Jollof is good wherever you get it from. Jollof is from neither of those countries, by the way.
Yeah.
But I would say it's Ghanaian because Nigerians is heavy on Maggi. It's heavy on stock. It's good, but I think a lot of people lean way too much on the umami stock flavor. And actually, that's not really my thing. Ghanaian, they shake it up with the vegetables, and I live for a vegetable. And I don't love to eat a straight portion of rice. But then when there's a little crunchy green pepper in there, I'm like, oh, this is something else. But most importantly, it's elevated by the shito. And Nigeria is often shito. I did not have shito in my childhood. I discovered shito 2 years ago, and it changed my life.
Wow.
It's divine.
Shito changed your life.
Shito changed my life. I hate condiments. I hate ketchup. I hate mayonnaise. I hate relish. I can't touch any of them. And maybe shito is a condiment. If they sold shito like they sold ketchup, it would be the one thing to make me change my mind. And it would break my entire condiment rule. It is delicious.
People export shito to the Western country.
I mean, now I know that's a thing, I will be doing it. Although ideally, I would have someone I will trace down the shito that I love the most, and I'd like to get that shito. That should be the shito that's exported.
I can even connect you with someone, so don't worry.
You know where the best shito is?
I don't know the best shito, but for looking at things,
I would like the best shito.
that person is actually one of the best people for the person to
I like good people.
cook shito for you. Yeah,
Best people.
yeah, the best people.
But is the shito also as good as the person?
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you seem to be really moderate. Is the shito good?
The
I'm
shito
sure
is
the
good.
person is great, but is the shito good?
Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm recommending the person to you, so don't worry.
I'm looking for the shito, not the person.
No problem. The shito is actually good.
As good as the person.
Yes, I've forgotten the name of the actual person or the product, but I can connect you with someone who is actually good at preparing shito. I don't know the quantity that you want, but if you want something like this, so you can actually do it
But
for
it
you.
sounds like you're selling me on how nice the person is and not how nice the shito is.
The shito. That's what
You're selling me on the shito. Okay, as long as I'm in agreement on that. Because they could be horrible, but if the shito's good, I'm still down.
Yeah.
It's time to reclaim.
The white people say Ghanaians are very hospitable, blah, 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 blah. To you, how do you see them?
Am I meant to disagree with that? Because I agree. I feel like, yeah, I do think Ghana's very hospitable. I think Ghanaians are very chill. I think generally, most of these thoughts I'm going with things I thought about 2 years ago when I had my initial findings. And I think it would often come up that I was Nigerian. And I found it interesting how Ghanaians define themselves in relation to Nigerians. And a lot of people took pride. I think Nigerians are stereotypically seen to be aggressive, loud, but also abrasive, whatever it is. Those are all negative though, depending on how you see them. There's also positive things. There's a lot of Nigerians. They procreate. But I think Ghanaians take pride in their softness. I think softness is really baked into the culture. I think people are the thing that annoys me when I'm waiting for a service is that people really are relaxed. People are patient. People are also very kind. I think people are incredibly hospitable. I mean, I've just spent 2 days waiting for a car to be fixed. I drove, 8 hours, 9 hours, car broke down. And a family of strangers, brothers, ended up taking that duty on, still currently fixing the car, have checked in today. And I'm like, I know for a fact if that had happened in the UK, I'd be on my own. The only thing to get you past would be money and knowing the right numbers to call. But these men were just going about their business. And then they were very happy to take their Easter weekends to fix a stranger's car.
Okay. So, with the discussion on how you saw Africa, your experience so far, do you think that whatever was painted about Africa, were those things actually true or not?
What was painted? Or what was painted for me?
Yeah, Africa is, there's no security here. They are bad people. They can even tell you that as a black person, since you are born there, your people hate you. Or you've never heard of that thing before.
No,
Yeah.
I haven't.
They do preach that. So that is why most of the people that were born there are not even wanting to come back. Because they'll put that kind of mentality in your head that your people actually hate you.
I was not told that.
Okay.
I don't disagree. I don't doubt that that might happen. I just was not told.
Yeah.
But I do think I think certain things were true. I think Africa was sold as lesser, primitive, behind, whatever you want to call it. Third world, poor. Everyone was starving. No one had any food. There were flies everywhere. Flies on the eyeballs, Those horrible videos. Everyone had flies on their eyeballs. Small children, hungry, drinking dirty water. I would say, yeah, no, people are surprisingly happy was my first take. I feel like all Western media of Africa was like suffering. It was like, flies on the eyeballs, please help me, my life is awful. And I feel like I see more people in the UK talking about how awful their life is. That's not to say that everything is perfect here. Things are not perfect here. But I do think I think the amount that people have to give and the agency that people have is really undersold. And I do think like there's a lot of strength in the African people. And I think a lot of the media likes to portray them as this is just like a weak force. And either you have to pitifully help them or you ignore them. But actually, there is an innate strength to people here. And I think there's a lot to learn from the way people live here.
Before I ask you your last question, let me ask you this. You are benefiting or maybe you're experiencing how we are treating people, hospitality, tourism, blah, blah, blah. Have you discovered or seen something in the tourism and hospitality space that you think that is a challenge and we should improve upon?
Oof. Challenges in hospitality.
Yeah.
I really don't think I have an answer to that. I don't work in hospitality. Like, yeah, there are things that vaguely annoy me, but I'm a customer, to be quite frank. Hospitality can work on improving themselves. I mean, I hold anywhere in the world to that standard. But if you tell me you're going to offer a service, please have that service. If you do not have that service, please tell me in advance. And that's probably about it.
Your manager.
That's really it. I just love transparency.
All right. Yeah.
But I can't speak for the world.
No problem. No problem.
But now I feel like we've wrapped up quite nicely, haven't we?
Yeah. What is your last message, to Africans, non-Africans there?
The Atlantic Ocean is a stunning, stunning ocean. And Ghana is a wonderful place with wonderful people. And the world is big. So if you have the opportunity to travel and you're wondering where to go next, I would highly recommend Ghana or even anywhere else in Africa, whether you've been there or not, because it's a big place and there's a lot to see.
Are you Madam or Mrs. or Miss Angel?
I think for today I'm Madam.
Madam.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Africa is really grateful for the education, information, and a bit of, entertainment, because she said that as much as she's a Nigerian, Ghanaian jollof is actually delicious more than Nigerian jollof.
That was the lasting quote.
Yeah.
I like that.
Subscribe to the channel, you comment, you like, and you share. And thanks to your manager. She has made things possible. Bye-bye.
This change now reflects leading from the experiences of those who know the truth, enhancing the authenticity of the journey. How does this sound?